Hi, I am going to paint this Columbine with this dot card that I got from Artistic Isle. She does her own handmade watercolors and they are so lovely. So I'm using sweet macaron and the green from Irish Blessing. Or you know what? Who knows? I could use other colors on there too. I did create a little swatch for myself so I could kind of really see what they, how they reacted to this same watercolor paper. So now let's come in with, let's see, how about a number 6, wet my brush. And I'm going to start with this, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, Lilco, I believe. So I'm painting right off the card. So if I want, so I'm trying to do a nice watery layer of color because, you know, I think that that's the way that we like start our paintings with depth, is just having a nice wash of color right from the get-go. So I'm going to paint these bigger petals. Not a solid color, but because we want to leave a little bit of that white from our paper peeking through, remember? Because that will, oh, that'll provide such cool depth. Okay, so we're going to let that set dry, and now we're going to wet our brush again, come in, and start to build that. This color is almost like a periwinkle. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to build from down here. And then we're going to do the areas that I've pre-shaded for you, so to speak. And just add a little bit of this lovely purple, lavender, right, in those areas. And now let's take some of this barely there color, and remember we're going to do like an egg. We're going to do like an egg of color to create that divot in the Columbine. There we go. I hope you can see that. These colors are so rich and so beautiful. I'm telling you, she does such a beautiful job. And you can go to her Instagram, Artistic Isle, and then there's a link to her website. And I'm telling you, I have to restrain myself from buying like every single palette that she has. Oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, so we're gonna let that set for a minute. I'm gonna come back in and add a little bit more of this purple. Start to build up the deeper areas. Remember, any place where two things meet, there's gonna be a bit of a shadow. So we're just gonna build that up. We can start to very lightly go over the veins and the petals. That's going to add some dimension. We can even take some of this, paint over here, and build up. Tap out those corners of color. Do you see this beautiful, I'm telling you, this beautiful shade of like this deep creamy lavender? I just love it. It's so pretty. We want it nice. This one we want nice and smooth. Our transition's nice and smooth. Remember, a damp brush is your best friend when you're trying to blend color. So now let's let that sit for a little bit, and then we're going to come back in with this other palette from Artistic Isle, and we're going to use the Emerald Isle from the Irish Blessing palette, and a little more water. I want this nice and watery, and we're going to do these outer leaves. Look at that beautiful shade. Remember, we're just going to start with a wash of color and let that sit, right? I'm going to clean off our brush. I'm going to come in with number 1, and I'm going to mix this salted caramel, and I'm just going to do it on this card here. A little bit of this salted caramel with this lemon cream. And then I'm going to do the stamens with that. Do you see how light it is? You can barely see it right now, but we're just going to, like always, we're just going to build color, build color, build color. Right? And then, with that little bit extra, we're just going to add just little bits of that color on the edges of our leaves, of our petals, excuse me. That's just going to add some depth. Just remember, everything in nature is not one color. But do you see how it's barely colored? Like it's not a straight line of that color. There we go. All right, let's use this, continue with this brush, come back with for some more of this purple. I'm going to come in here, build that up nice and deep. So beautiful. Okay, while that's drying, let's build up here. Beautiful. Right in those crevices. If you're at all interested in watercolors, just try to build up your arsenal of round brushes. And like I said, I don't ever buy brushes that are expensive. They're all under $5. Every now and again I'll treat myself to something under $10, but for the most part, I just like synthetic bristles. And so if they're inexpensive like that, you will, going over these veins again, just ever so slightly. If you build, you're going to find your sweet spot when you're painting. You're going to find the one that feels the best in your hand. And I like to hold my paintbrush kind of like how I hold a pencil. It makes a big difference for me. Number one, I feel like I have decent control for line work. And it just feels natural. Everybody holds it however they hold it. I'm just telling you what works for me. Okay. So now, let's come back in here and really deepen down here. Remember, we're just slowly building that color. Now we're going to wet our brush. I'm going to pull, oops, I'm going to tap it out so it's not super wet. I'm just going to pull this purple. I'm going to make an egg that's not quite as long as the first one. So we're kind of creating a layer. And it's a little bit tricky because that first layer is so light, but it's right there. You just have to take your time, find it. You might have to dampen your brush again. There we go. And remember, these art printables, once you buy them, they're yours. You can practice, you can print and practice and print and practice and print and practice, and then make them all into cards and send them to someone, brighten their day. This is the Tessa art printable featuring Columbines because our Tessa girl is from Colorado, and that's their state flower. A little deeper on the purple here. There we go. Lovely. Okay, let's go back with, let's see, what do we have here? And number 2. Tap off, get some of this green and deepen up down here. Just tap out some color. I just want these leaves to look kind of mottled, like maybe the sun is shining down in them. Look how pretty that is. And let's go in for a little more deeper green down here at the base. There we go. Look how pretty that is. There we go. Nice deep green. Okay. Now let's go in to the stamen. And let's just use some of the salted caramel. I'm going to come in and just do one side. Just one side, add a little bit of that salted caramel to just one side of those stamen to start to build that depth in those two. We'll let that dry, and then maybe we'll bring some of this salted caramel into these just every now and again. Remember how we had just that little bit of the first yellow that we mixed? Let's come in and do just the very edges. Build that a little bit more. You can already see the depth. You don't want anything to look too uniform. Now we're going to just tap this up. So you have just like the hint of those colors. Remember, damp brush is your friend. Oh, love it. Okay, I was just fiddling around and I'm thinking this pastel sky, that might be a cool addition. Oh, look at it there. Look at it there. That's just gonna make that super rich. Look at that with that green, it's so beautiful. So we're just gonna add like the very faintest bits of that pastel sky to this beautiful, that's gonna, look at how beautiful and periwinkle that looks. Do you see the richness that that brings out? Oh, so pretty. Just barely. Add a little bit of that up here. Over here. So pretty. Okay, you know what? I have this beautiful Irish gold. Let's take a little bit of that. We can just hit these stamen with a little bit of gold. So there's just that little bit of shimmer. That's pretty. Maybe tap this out. So these have a little bit of gold. Okay, now I'm going to wet my brush again, tap it off, and these areas, I want to soften those lines. So we're just going to use that pounce method, just soften the lines, tap it out. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. Just follow that line with your damp brush. And you see how that just creates this movement and depth. So pretty. And then the same for the depth in the corners. Let's use a little bit more of this purple. We're almost done. I'm gonna have to order some more. I just love this purple. Slowly build up that purple. Okay, I am loving it. I hope you are too. I hope you will visit Artistic Isle on Instagram and Corbiere-Scott Designs, of course, and purchase the Tessa printable. And there's all kinds of other printables. I'm growing it as much as I can, as quickly as I can.